We are seeing a little bit of, should we say, historical engineering going on at the BBC as well, and we're going to play a scene now from the BBC One daytime soap opera Doctors. Now, this episode on Wednesday was called Furryland, featuring a character called Ethan, who is a non-binary furry. For him, it's just a harmless hobby, but his grandfather was not overly happy. Let's look at this.
I love it. Okay. Yes. Go, Valen. Woohoo. You look awesome. I'm going to get a bespoke suit, well, as soon as I can scrape the cash together. Does your seamstress do feathers?
I don't see why not. What are you wearing tonight?
Well, I've borrowed some things from the drama department, so we'll see how that goes.
Take that rubbish off. I don't want it in the house. It's perverted.
Grandad.
Now, Ollie, I speak fluent English. I haven't a clue what that was about. Ollie, please explain.
Well, that was actually trying to promote a fetish which is called furries. So this is adults, mostly men, that enjoy wearing kind of costumes. They look like kind of football mascots.
I was going to say, it
animals.
looks pretty harmless to me.
It looks harmless, right? However, it's not, because you see many of these furries, they, go to these fetish events, they have their own conventions, and a lot of it is actually sexualized. So the fact that they're putting this in a program that is, it's a daytime program, it's probably watched by young people as well. It's that subtle indoctrination. It looks harmless, a guy dressed as a giant teddy bear, but there is a dark side to this furries movement, because it is a fetish and people get off from wearing these costumes. And also, kids see this. Kids see these costumes. They think, oh, it's harmless. The parents think it's harmless, but there's that kind of dark underbelly to it.
So what is the future of the football mascot industry? I mean, because Gunnosaurus welcomes us onto the field at Arsenal. There's the Villa Lion and Lionesses. I mean, seriously, it subverts fancy dress.
Right, I mean, look, the football mascots are totally harmless and stuff, and there's no agenda there, but in terms of this furry movement, there is an agenda there, and it is a sexualized fetish movement. So, that is harmful, because kids look at these, stuffed animals, these giant stuffed animals, and think they're harmless, and they're really not. So that is the issue.
Ollie, thanks for explaining that, because, again, if I'd have watched that, I wouldn't necessarily understand it fully. And this is the thing about bringing up a family, as I do, within a community which doesn't always sort of look deeply into sort of the changes that are going on around it. And this is one part of secular society that I am not really hugely a part of, but I should be.
Yeah, I mean, these things are very subtle, Johnny, so most people probably won't be aware of what's going on. Yeah. And, you have also the introduction of non-binary characters in Disney's Pixar film Elementals. You have kind of this trans indoctrination being very subtly pushed. So as a parent, you might not even notice it. There was a Transformers cartoon that had non-binary robots, and it's very, very subtle, so you don't notice it. But when you're having that from all angles, so you've got it on the BBC, you've got it in cartoons, you've got it on social media, that is a slow indoctrination process that kind of pushes these ideas into a child's head from a very young age. So that's where it's harmful.
And these are progressive ideas which assault people in many ways who are believers, perhaps in faith-based religions. And my question about this sort of subtle indoctrination is actually what we will see is people withdrawing, pulling up the old drawbridge and resorting perhaps to their own communities, so that actually the sort of pluralistic ideas of being British are being broken down. And at some point, there'll be a kind of revolt to this.
Yeah, I mean, there already is. We're seeing parents in the US and UK being totally outraged by this. I meet with parents all the time. I meet with teachers, professors, directors of educational institutions, and their number one concern right now is this kind of woke agenda being shoved down the throats of kids, and that is the harm here is, kids should not be being pushed these ideas. And I think there is a great pushback now. There's a lot of people speaking up against it. You even had the Education Secretary, Gillian Keegan, was previously saying they would investigate all of this gender ideology being pushed in schools. They don't want that. Suella Braverman, when she was Home Secretary, she also said she was strongly against that as well, and Ofsted have been investigating that. So I think people are awake now. But, every parent needs to be speaking up. They need to be going to the school meetings, just making sure their kids are okay and nothing is being pushed on them that they're not aware of, because some of these kids are transitioned behind the parent's back. The parent has no idea.